Tonight, a high-stakes global competition is unfolding, not on a battlefield, but deep within the Earth's crust. Beneath our feet, a silent war is raging, one that will shape the future of technology, energy, and even global power. This is a conflict fought not with armies, but with drills, science, and strategy, as nations scramble to secure the resources that will define the next century. The prize: rare earth elements, especially dysprosium and terbium. These metals may sound obscure, but they are the hidden engines behind our modern world. From the magnets in your smartphone to the batteries in electric vehicles, these elements are essential for the technologies we rely on every day. Without them, progress in clean energy, advanced electronics, and even national defense would grind to a halt. The US and its allies are racing to break China's overwhelming control over these materials, which are essential for green energy and national security. Wind turbines, electric cars, and sophisticated military hardware all depend on a steady supply of rare earths. The stakes are enormous. Whoever controls these resources will have a decisive edge in the industries of tomorrow. China now controls nearly 90% of the global supply, giving it immense leverage over major industries. This dominance didn't happen overnight. It's the result of decades of investment, planning, and strategic policy. Today, the world's factories and laboratories depend on Chinese shipments to keep their production lines moving. Beijing has already used this dominance as a political weapon, threatening to restrict exports and sending shockwaves through global markets. When China tightens its grip, prices soar and uncertainty ripples across industries, from automakers to defense contractors. The message is clear: access to these metals can be turned on or off like a switch. Relying on a single strategic rival for the building blocks of the 21st century is a vulnerability that must be addressed. Policymakers and industry leaders are sounding the alarm, warning that the future of entire economies could be at risk if supply chains remain so fragile and concentrated. Imagine if the production of electric cars, wind turbines, and advanced military electronics could be throttled at a moment's notice. The consequences would be immediate and severe: factories idled, jobs lost, and national security compromised. The world's transition to clean energy and digital technology could stall overnight. The race is on to discover new mines, build processing plants, and innovate recycling methods. Around the globe, companies and governments are investing billions to find alternatives, develop new technologies, and reduce dependence on any single source. Every breakthrough brings hope for a more secure and sustainable future. This is a monumental industrial challenge, involving scientists, engineers, and financial risk-takers across continents. It's a test of innovation, collaboration, and resilience. From the laboratory bench to the boardroom, the world's brightest minds are working to solve one of the most pressing resource puzzles of our time. The mission: build a secure, reliable, and diverse supply chain for rare earths, free from the stranglehold of a single nation. This means forging new partnerships, investing in technology, and reimagining how we source and recycle these critical materials. The outcome will shape the balance of power for decades to come. The outcome will determine who builds the future, and on whose terms. In this silent war, the victors will not just claim resources, but the ability to shape the world's destiny. The battle for rare earths is about more than metals. It's about who will lead the next era of human progress. What makes dysprosium and terbium so vital in our rapidly advancing world? These elements might not be household names, but their impact is felt in nearly every corner of modern life. They're classified as heavy rare earths, and they're absolutely essential for creating the world's most powerful, permanent magnets. Magnets that are the backbone of countless high-tech devices. These advanced magnets are found at the heart of electric vehicles and wind turbines, where they must endure punishing conditions and extreme heat. Only dysprosium and terbium can provide the thermal stability and magnetic strength needed for these demanding applications. Every electric vehicle on the road contains up to 2 kilograms of these specialized magnets, while a single wind turbine can require hundreds more. Without them, the clean energy revolution would grind to a halt, but their importance doesn't stop at green technology. These rare earths are also critical for national defense. They're found in missile guidance systems, advanced fighter jets, military drones, and even the propulsion systems of submarines. Without a reliable supply, the production of advanced military hardware could be severely compromised, putting national security at risk. As the world accelerates toward electrification and renewable energy, the demand for these elements is projected to skyrocket, potentially doubling or even tripling within the next decade. This surge is creating unprecedented pressure on global supply chains. With China currently dominating the rare earth supply chain, this soaring demand has created a perfect storm of economic and geopolitical tension, raising concerns about over-reliance on a single source. Once obscure and overlooked, dysprosium and terbium are now at the center of a global geopolitical flashpoint, with their prices and availability making headlines around the world. Governments and industries everywhere are scrambling to secure access to these critical minerals, racing to establish new partnerships and develop alternative sources before it's too late. The race for rare earths is about more than just technology. It's about who will shape the future of energy, defense, and innovation for generations to come. The stakes have never been higher, as the world faces a pivotal moment in securing the resources that will define the next era of progress. Now, more than ever, the world is waking up to the critical role of these unsung heroes, dysprosium and terbium, whose hidden power is shaping our collective future. China's dominance in rare earths is no accident. It's the result of decades of strategic investment. While other countries closed mines, China built out its entire supply chain, from mining to processing. With vast deposits and lax environmental regulations, China produced rare earths cheaply, driving global prices down and competitors out. By the early 2000s, China controlled over 90% of production. In 2010, China cut off exports to Japan during a dispute, showing its willingness to weaponize supply. Today, China dominates not just mining, but the complex processing needed to turn ore into usable metals. Even Western mines often send their concentrate to China for final processing. Breaking this chokehold is the toughest challenge facing the West. Rebuilding a rare earth supply chain in the West is a monumental task, one that requires not just vision, but a coordinated effort across multiple sectors. The scale of the challenge is immense, touching everything from geology and engineering to international politics and economics. For decades, the industry has been dormant. The expertise that once existed has faded away, and the infrastructure that supported it has crumbled or been repurposed. Many of the skills and technologies needed to mine and process rare earths have simply vanished from the Western world. Heavy rare earth deposits, especially those containing elements like dysprosium and terbium, are exceptionally rare outside of China. Finding viable deposits is just the first hurdle. These minerals are often scattered in remote, hard-to-access locations, making exploration and extraction even more challenging. No single Western country can tackle this alone. International cooperation is not just helpful, it's absolutely essential. By pooling resources, sharing knowledge, and aligning policies, Western nations can create a more resilient and competitive supply chain. Even after a promising deposit is found, the journey to production is long and expensive. Years of geological surveys, environmental studies, and regulatory approvals are required, followed by billions of dollars in investment to build the necessary infrastructure. The real bottleneck, however, lies in processing. Separating rare earths into high-purity elements demands highly specialized, complex, and costly facilities. This step is critical, as it determines the quality and usability of the final product. Most of the world's expertise in rare earth processing is concentrated in China. As a result, Western companies are forced to relearn old techniques and innovate new ones from scratch, often with limited guidance or precedent. Competing with China's state-subsidized industry is daunting. China has the ability to flood the market and crash prices, making it nearly impossible for new Western projects to survive without significant support. That's why government intervention is so critical. Grants, loan guarantees, and long-term offtake agreements help de-risk these massive investments, encouraging private companies to take the plunge. Ultimately, only through strong public-private partnerships can the West hope to revive and sustain this vital industry, ensuring a secure and independent supply of rare earth elements for the future. The West's plan to break China's monopoly has three pillars. First, bring new, non-Chinese mines online, especially those rich in heavy rare earths. Second, build midstream processing plants in allied nations, so raw materials don't have to go to China. Companies like MP Materials, Linus, and Neo Performance are leading the charge, backed by government funding. Third, innovate in recycling. Urban mining of rare earths from electronic waste offers a domestic, eco-friendly supply. These three pillars, new mines, new processing, and recycling, form the foundation for resource independence. The goal: a secure, allied mine-to-magnet supply chain for the future. The search for new rare earth sources is a modern gold rush. Australia leads with Lynas Rare Earths and the rich Mount Weld mine, now expanding processing at home. Canada is developing projects like Necalacho, aiming to supply North America's EV industry. Brazil's recent discovery of a massive deposit could reshape the global landscape, though it's early days. Europe, too, is joining in. Sweden's Kiruna find offers hope for reducing China dependence. Each project chips away at China's monopoly, diversifying the global supply chain. International investment and cooperation are key to bringing these resources online. The world is racing to secure its technological future. Turning a rare earth discovery into a working supply chain takes a decade or more. The process involves mapping, permits, community consultations, billions in capital, and construction. Environmental standards are higher than ever. New projects must avoid the disasters of the past. Cleaner processing and safe waste management add cost and complexity. Permitting is slow and often faces local opposition, but it's essential for responsible development. The investment required is massive. Private capital alone isn't enough. Government support, loans, guarantees, and purchase agreements de-risks these projects. Public-private partnership is the only way forward. The road is long, but the stakes demand action. Competing with China's rare earth industry is an uphill battle. China's scale, expertise, and state support allow it to set global prices and undercut new entrants. Western producers risk being priced out before they can establish themselves. To counter this, governments offer off-take agreements, guaranteed purchases at set prices, to stabilize revenue. Marketing rare earths as responsibly sourced gives Western producers a premium edge. Higher standards can become a competitive advantage in a world demanding ethical supply chains. Breaking China's rare earth stranglehold is a marathon, not a sprint. Success means building a resilient, allied mine-to-magnet supply chain. Governments must accelerate new mining, especially for heavy rare earths, and back promising projects. Building midstream processing is the hardest, most vital step, requiring major investment and expertise. Recycling and urban mining are strategic imperatives for a secure circular supply. International coordination is essential. No single country can do it alone. By pooling resources and expertise, allied nations can create a diverse, secure supply chain. The future of green energy and national security depends on it.